So wait just for a minute. Okay. Okay, we can continue. Okay, I repeat, my name is Oleg Bazhenov. I'm a professional photographer, a graphic designer, and art director of the Human Light System project. And today, I would like to introduce my course at the Human Light System project, which named Healing Photography. What you will hear today is my personal experience of working as a photographer for almost 20 years and understanding the concept of human light system through photography, through my professional work. So if we study our light system, it will help us interacting with other people and even with nature more efficiently and effectively. And this course is not really a usual photography workshop. During this course, we're going to talk about photography as a way of changing perception of ourselves and objects around us. During this course, we're going to learn to influence the world around us in a certain way. Wait a minute. Okay, we are going to learn to enter a special state of visual ability. Ability to recognize things we did not notice before. And of course, we're going to learn how we can express that special vision through photography, through photographs. You know, through photography, we can do amazing discoveries. We can start very interesting process of understanding ourselves and the world around us. Photography, first of all, photography is a great purpose of interacting with all kinds of people and going to all kinds of places. When we take pictures, we get a great chance to observe everything around us more deeply. And healing photography, it's also about the way of increasing our personal light ability and improving our informational light structure. What does informational light structure mean? Each one of us has a unique informational light structure. It's basically what a person thinks about himself and about the world around him. These are his personal qualities and aspirations, ideas and desires, abilities and moods. This structure came from his occupation and lifestyle, his life events and ancestors' life events, his ups and downs, joy and sorrow. And I tend to think that it's not only about one life. Looking at how differently people are internally, it seems to me that we live more than once. And the way we look today does not only reflect the stage of our body aging, and it does not only show qualities we inherited from our parents. It's just a part of our appearance, but the other part, I think its main part, is a reflection of our internal informational light structure. A special meaning that we transfer from this life to the next one, maybe, changing and enriching it through our experience. For example, my mother has 5 brothers and 2 sisters from same mother and father. And they are very different people, both internally and externally. They look similar, but their unique qualities make each one of them very special and very different. I think you've heard about the concept of internal beauty. Internal beauty. What does it mean? People say internal beauty about someone's good qualities that make him more pleasant to spend time with. So it could be kindness or sense of humor or anything else. And these qualities are also a great part of the internal informational structure of a person. So it's much more than just a look. The internal beauty of a person is something unexplainable, something attractive and special. We appreciate this beauty with our senses, not just by looking at it. Advanced person attracts you, makes you feel comfortable. He creates a special atmosphere around him. It may seem like he's generating some kind of light coming out of him. And this light transforms your internal beauty to the external look. Beauty of the face and beauty of the body. And I believe that it's in the depths of your soul. I believe that each person is beautiful in his own way. Even most unhappy ones. As Buddhists say, the original nature of each person is pure and beautiful. Have you ever seen a depressive type of person in a state of true happiness? For example, when he or she is in love. Do you notice how beautiful his face becomes? This charm has nothing to do with the type of face. It doesn't matter how symmetrical face is. You see the light flows through these eyes, and that's much more than what we call a great look. But in everyday life, full of problems and stresses, this light is usually hidden deep inside of a person. And to be able to see it, first of all, and capture it, to see it and get it out, and capture it on a photo, it's a lot of work. It is very difficult to make a model feel comfortable with you in a short period of time. To have your model open and show intimate part, show natural part, reveal essence hidden deep inside. But if you really try, if you set this goal for yourself, you probably will make it possible. And my affair with photography helped me to make it possible. I remember at some point, I had been doing fashion photography. I started with fashion photography, start my career. In the beginning, I enjoyed shooting great-looking people in the beautiful clothes, but soon I got bored with it. Fashion photo has its own standards and requirements. The main part here is a great look, which is only a beauty of the form. Makeup, gloss, and anything else, nothing else. But I was looking for meaning rather than form. I'm looking for something real and sincere, something that impressed me in the works of real masters of portrait photography, such as Annie Leibovitz, Steve McCurry, Lee Jeffries, David Lazar. For example, Annie Leibovitz. I show you her photos. One moment. I've got to share it with online guys. Wait a minute. So, Ben, can you help me? Sorry, 1 minute.
This one. Нет, надо все. Правый верхний угол. Да. Что в правом верхнем углу.
Не, все работает.
Да, это работает.
Смотри, работает сейчас.
Не показывает. Ну, нет. Правый верхний угол. Кнопочку в правом верхнем углу. Тогда она будет всегда. Ну, давай закрой стоп-шер. Стоп-шер. А теперь шер. Кнопочку в правом верхнем всегда тогда будет видно то, что видишь ты. Понимаешь? А так оно только твою сложку показывает.
Okay, we can see it. Okay, for example, photos of Annie Leibovitz. She had a lot of photos of celebrities. You all know these people. We saw them many times on many photos. But when I first time saw the photos of Annie Leibovitz, it has very impressed me. Because on these photos I saw not just the faces, beautiful faces, I saw the inner world of these people. And it's very impressed me. Let's look at these photos, it's very beautiful. So it's much more than just beauty, it's a lot of information about these people, about their states, their feelings. This is the best photo of Michael Jackson, I think. Okay, or for example, Steve McCurry. This photo, I think you saw this photo on the National Geographic's magazine cover. It's a photo of Afghani girl. Look at this face, this is much more than just a beauty. Here's a lot of information. It's a whole story. And this is true story. Or for example, David Lazar, it's beautiful photos. So in their photographs, there was something beyond my understanding. Just by looking at them, I was stunned by its depth and sincerity. I felt through what the photographer experienced. I had sense of a moment captured on camera. And these impressions inspired me so much. They made my perception of the world more profound and meaningful. Those works influenced my internal structure and changed it. I think that's where the value of true art is. Any art, not just a photography. So, what are the things that helped photographer to make these people in the shot receptive? Why would they open their heart to a total stranger with a photo camera pointed on them? What we see is not just happiness and joy in their faces, but it's sincerity, sadness, deep meaning, or I would say it's infinite beauty. And after a long way of watching interviews with professionals of photography, their master classes, and thousands of shots, I realized that the key to creating these great photographs was internal structure of the photographer personality and a certain state he was in the moment he took that shot. Of course, there are a lot of tricks to encourage a person to be photographed and keep him calm, for example. But the most important aspect was a kind of internal light that masters of photography generate. The light that allowed not only to encourage a person the moment you're shooting, but also to see the special, unique meaning in each person. Catch it in the perfect timing. Because sometimes you get a few seconds and it's gone. The state of person is gone. That's art of photography, and perfect timing makes it precious. Photography helps to hold the moment, capture it and show its beauty of the moment. I think healing photography, it's something close to the biowell technology. After all, what the biowell camera is doing, biowell camera is photographing the special hidden light emitted by the object under certain conditions. And with help of these pictures, we can learn something about ourselves that was hidden from us before. Some hidden light. For example, about the levels of energy, levels of our lighting. So we can learn more about our own light structure. And our beauty, our external beauty, it's a part of it, part of the structure. Because the most interesting part is that the person who we photograph does not always realize how beautiful and interesting he is inside. Sometimes people are very surprised how beautiful and impressive they can look on photographs. Some people I photographed commented after seeing their photos, like, it's not me. It's my favorite phrase, it's not me. I never thought I could look so different. One girl said, what am I going to do now with myself looking this way? She was very surprised. Let me show you their photos. It's special compilation with pictures that very surprised the persons on them. So it's not professional models, it's normal people that I met in my life. It's a very different people with very different structures and very different beauty. But with help of my state in this moment, I can take these pictures, take this natural part of this people. It's not just the joy and happiness. And these pictures changed lives of these persons. So that's why I called my course Healing Photography. Because this approach to photography, with this approach, we can improve ourselves and those around us. Let's show people their uniqueness, inspire them to find their own ways, to find their beauty, to find meaning. Because people follow certain society standards, standards of fashion, standards of behavior. They tend to behave and look a certain way. We adjust our image for business requirements, for example, or simply adjust ourselves to society. And the moment people notice a camera pointed at them, they begin posing. They trying to make themselves look better. But it ruins the shot because they look pretentious and unnatural. So in reality, people are different from they're trying to be. Each person is unique and beautiful in his own way. So we can realize our uniqueness, believe how special we are, how beautiful we are, despite society standards. And the first thing we need to do is to gain trust of a person before we capture him on camera. We need to empathize him, or I will say love him, just for a moment. You know, I heard a story about a businessman who was preparing for meetings with gay partners in a very unusual way. He will get a photo of the person he's meeting with beforehand, and then he was practicing with a photo, getting fascinated by it. He imagined that person as his best friend. almost, I say, fall in love with the photo. And when they finally met in person, people at the meeting were very impressed with this guy. His sincerity, his charm. So with such technique, he could make very positive impression on anyone he did business with. And so he could easily get anyone on his side. He brought atmosphere of mutual understanding and trust to every business meeting. So in order to get some comfortable and receptive, you need to some extent be fascinated by him. You gotta believe that he is truly amazing deep inside. Let him know that you understand him, empathize with him. And then he will react to you and open to you. Relax and stop posing, come to his natural, sincere state of being. I think this is one of the secrets of the healing photography. I will say the photographer must be in love. A friend of mine, a wonderful professional photographer, said one phrase, and I picked it up from her and became the formula of my work. Because you may show interest to photographer and his vision only if you see that he is fascinated by you, just for a little. Why? Because he, the one who understands you in this moment. And whatever, in joy and sadness, even cries with you maybe. Because with that right perception, photographer may surprise you and show you how unique and beautiful you can be. And capture it on the camera, capture this moment and show it. And when you look at the image created by a photographer, which reflects his love, reflects your love, which can recognize its structure, a person will be inspired and motivated to reach a goal. And this might have an effect on his life and even health. It seems to me love and acceptance is a special broadband informational exchange channel, a special password which will give you access to unique hidden information of each person, which a person can't know. But if he finds out, it will change his life. In this mode, we are capable of a special, deep perception of the main infrastructure of any object. It's some ideal information. It's ideal image according to which he tries to grow his whole life maybe. So, turn your thoughts and feelings into a tool that allows you to create an atmosphere around you. At the time when you're shooting, try to express not only physical, but also the informational space. After all, the word photography is translated as drawing by light. So, include your inner light and flare the surrounding space, both visible and hidden, informational. And then communication with any person will surprise and fill you. Because there is a lot of light in every person. And even the sad one. And it's not necessarily to put joy and smiles on the face, but the energy of light, of internal light, can make you very strong and beautiful, whatever the state you are in. Whatever it's sadness or euphoria, catch the moment, this true moment, sympathies, and people will open and trust you their love and uniqueness. I would like to tell about one photo shoot, which was probably the most fascinating in my life. Once I got a phone call from a friend of mine, and she told me about her new job at the big charity foundation. The founder of the charity is a well-known person. Her name is Dr. Lisa. And this is an amazing woman we now all often admire. And one of the charity missions was feeding homeless and providing basic medical aid on site. And a friend of mine, she asked me on the phone if I could come with them and make a photo report of their charity work. She also asked me to make portraits of homeless people for press, to show that homeless person is not a monster, but an equal part of society. And I remember I really did not feel like doing this job, because I always thought of homeless people as aggravated, drunk and terrible looking elements that are absolutely hopeless. All the time I give my money to these people, but I couldn't imagine how I can possibly make good portraits in there. But I finally agreed to take the job, and I did not get disappointed. Because head of the charity, Dr. Lisa, turned out to be an incredible person with very, very powerful light structure. She illuminated everyone around her. And even the most unhappy and miserable ones begin to descend. She had some kind of influence on them. And she was changing their negative perception just with her smile. And these people, they start to look inspired. And I've been very, very surprised. Let me show you these people in these photos. I think they're very beautiful. It's just homeless people. But they're very beautiful. And I photograph its sheep. There's a lot of light in her eyes. After that job, I truly believed that human light system can cure and can help anyone to gain confidence. So if we study our light system, it will help us interacting with other people. Communication on a new level. And this is all participants of the charity. So, let's develop our light systems. Let's communicate with other people on a new level. I think more deep and meaningful. And you can heal your light system and light systems of people around you. And you can use it for anything, for seeing without eyes through informative design, or photography, or anything else. But healing photography is not just about working with people. Other interesting part of my course is working with nature and the environment. Probably you have tried to photograph nature, surroundings, places you have been to, so you could share with others what you have seen. When smartphones broadly came to our life, taking digital photos became one of the most common human activities. Everybody likes Instagram and stuff like that. But for an average person to take a great photo of landscape is like a win a lottery. So what's going on? Newer digital cameras give you high resolution, good quality photographs. Even smartphones do now. These cameras has automatic modes doing all the necessary adjustments just automatically. It does light metering, sets the correct aperture, shutter speed, and autofocuses on any object you need in focus. Instantly, your camera is ready to shoot now. And all you need to do is point it and press the button. Photoshop and other photo editing platforms allow you to process your images with one click. You get desired color or effects with filters. You know, about just 15 years ago when I started photography, we could not even dream of such perfect tool. Why right now we still struggle to take a good photograph? Why most people still consider it as luck? I think one of the reasons being is that from the technical point of view, photo camera is just a tool. You should know how to use this tool, and during Human Light System online course, we will talk about the basics of photography in technical way. But even when we learn to use the camera, understand how to work with light, and buy the best equipment, we will only to be able to capture the form of the object, but not the essence of it. But our goal, healing photography goal, is to fill the frame with essence and meaning, even on landscapes. Another word is to create deep and informative image with the perfect lighting. That's when your photo becomes interesting to anyone. The meaning of the photograph you created might find a response in someone. I believe that beauty is rather a meaning than a shape. More precisely, it is a meaning expressed in a shape. So when we look at a truly beautiful landscape, we take a lot of information. Some ideal information about the creation of nature, maybe. And it fills us. It gives more energy to us. Even heals our soul, maybe, our light structure. So, what should we start with? Let's start with learning to recognize meaning and structure in what we are shooting. And to do so, we need to pay a little more attention to what we are shooting. Because the most of the photographs, we take the most of the photographs just spontaneously. We do it when we are on the way somewhere or in the middle of something. It's unlikely for us to devote more attention to this process. But if we want to take a special photograph, we should at least concentrate a bit and dedicate to it, let's say 10 minutes for start. We should just view this place with a clear mind. Look at it from all angles. Observe it precisely. I really like Chinese traditions, ancient Chinese traditions. Chinese do everything through a ceremony. In other words, they fully concentrate on what they do. Concentrating on what you do at this moment is the first step to so-called entering the mode of vision. A while ago, I listened to a lecture on Chinese painting. And I'd like to tell you one story I remember from that lecture. It's about an artist who drew a tree. And before he started drawing, he sat down near the tree and concentrated on it, ignoring everything else. And he will spend an entire day just staring at the tree. Eventually, he got to the point he merged with the object into one. He kind of lived through it, following every motion of this tree. He almost turned into that tree, turned into the tree. And only after that kind of preparation, he could start. And he drew it in just a few minutes. Let me show you this work. It was something like that. And I remember that work. It's a simple picture drawn with black ink, just for a few minutes. But it was so great. I discovered something new that day. And so to feel the atmosphere of the place, to see its beauty, is the first and probably the most necessary and important stage. And only after that we begin to learn how to bring up that atmosphere in pictures. I have received a wonderful letter from a participant of my course, Dieter Weinshop. He was so right by saying the most of the photographs of nature, of his friends, are synthetic, because it doesn't express the atmosphere of this place. And to feel, understand, and see the true beauty of a place, it is necessary to spend some time here. But I believe that if we follow the ancient Chinese approach with our photography, if we can concentrate, we will at least partly succeed in expressing our feelings to the viewer through photograph. Of course, it takes a lot of practice. So, when you are going to take a picture of a place, take your time and observe it. Look at the place closely. See how the light and the reflection are spreading across. Trace all its movements. Inhale its smells. Feel its atmosphere. For example, let me show you one picture that I take. No. Here is that. No, it's not a one. That picture. For example, to take this picture, I sat near this lake almost all day long. The clouds were floating across the sky. The lighting was constantly changing, and a strong wind blowing and ripples on the surface didn't let me look into the water and see its clarity. And the longer I sat, the calmer and stronger I felt. I started to feel as if I was communicating with this place. At one point, I kind of thanked the spirit of this place for my wonderful sensation. And suddenly, just for a moment, the wind disappeared. And the sun came out of the clouds. And I saw it. I always keep my camera ready to shoot, and I take the shot. So if you have time to tune yourself to a place you're shooting, you will get its energy and information, not only for yourself, but you can also deliver it to the nature. And nature can hear you. You simply need to ask this place to open. And one day it will surely respond. After all, even though the landscape seems to be invariable, in fact, if you spend enough time observing it, you will be able to see completely different pictures of one place. For example, let me show you these pictures. For example, I lived in Altai for 2 years, and that's the view from the window of my terrace. And now I will show you a series of photos taken from the same window at different times. It's just from the same window. And it's very, very different pictures of different states of the nature. So it's just from one window. Or for example, I somehow came to the beach and set out to photograph something unusual. something interesting set up. Sea was right in front of me, the ship, and the big dark clouds that were covering the sun. I did a couple of shots and it came up very dull. But by the way, at the same period, I was practicing work with translators technology. You can hear about technology on our Congress. And that's why I had bracelets and 2 cards with structures. On me, at the time, I was on the beach. I think it's also played its role. So I sat down right next to the sea, put the camera next to me, threw everything out of my head, and plunged into communication with the sea. There is tremendous amount of energy concentrated in the sea. And after a while, I felt that I got into a very powerful and deep condition. And at the moment, miracle happened. Let me show you this picture. It's this picture. Suddenly, just above the ship, clouds cleared up a bit, and sunlight came through. These 2 spaces or 2 holes in the sky seemed like heaven's eyes, as sun rays are coming through, and with perfect lighting, it looks very expressive. Some kind of God keeps an eye on this ship in the middle of the sea, and the rest of the sea is in gloom. It's very beautiful and very meaningful. And the main secret of healing photography is that by gaining a stronger and deeper state of being, with the help of forces of nature in this case, we can reshape space and objects around us. We can get in touch with the surroundings. And if there is enough light in us, enough energy, the space itself will start working with us and creating with us. It's not just about reflecting what you see, but it's about creating something unique that no one else has ever seen before you on this place, on the same place. Catch the unique moments of our life, moments you were part of, moments you created. So, nature is very powerful accelerator for emotional state you are in. The state that allows you to see the surrounding more deeply and interact with it. The state requires very delicate concentration and adjustment. That's why it's really not easy to get into that emotional state. After all, in our everyday city life, we are affected by a huge amount of interference. Electromagnetic smoke, the condition of people around, our worries, experience, stress, all these are quite strong and raw influence. All this bothers us and disharmonize emotional state we're in. And eventually your perception may get rugged. It simply depends on a mood you are in and the way things grab you. Either you see beauty or you see ugliness in same thing. But the mode of a deeper vision requires silence, concentration, and energy, even a small degree. And that's why landscape photography is ideal for getting yourself in such special emotional state. Even the city park will help to calm and awaken you. Here's another example. In St. Petersburg, the city I grew up, place where I felt free and powerful was any roof of any building could get into. Spending quite a long time on a roof may be a great escape from the vanity and stress of the big city. And you may get a lot of inspiration and enter the state of vision we just discussed. You can notice a bunch of wonderful objects and meanings. So at one time, me and a girl I knew went up on the roof to spend time and take some pictures. It was a beautiful summer day. We were in love, and we got some great photos. Let me show you some photos from this photo session. Here it is. And at the very end of the shooting, birds gathered suddenly. And looking through my camera, I thought, wouldn't it be wonderful if all those birds fit in the frame? And I had to wait just a minute, and I took this photo. So you can see these birds, it's some kind of magic. So we are not just looking at things around us. We influence what we're looking at. We can influence people we're observing, or situation on the street, and even forms of nature. I don't know if you are familiar with Masaru Emoto and his meditation on moving clouds or the influencing water by certain meanings. If you are not, see this. It's a wonderful experience. You know, it's as a good example. Look at the magnetic compass arrow, magnetic compass needle. For a magnetic field of the Earth to turn the magnetic needle of the compass towards the north, it is located on a tin needle. Why? Because we must bring friction to a minimum, so the strength of the Earth magnetic field will be enough to move it. But if we lay the arrow just on a table, where the friction is much greater, you know it will not respond. So, same way, we should hover in space, get lightness and strength, and then the energy of the place will easily point us in the right direction. And we be able to see something hidden from us before. So let me show you some landscapes. There are two. So with the help of the energy of the nature, I find this beauty of the nature. So let's develop our light system. You can use it in any field. You can use it for seeing without eyes. You can use it in any action, any activity of your life, and even in my work, in my professional work in photography. So thank you very much. I hope. Thank you. My English is not enough for. So it's not another coffee break, another pause in our presentation. Thank you.